I am a previous vape user. I used to vape from most of my high school years. I really quit my last year of high school. Quit senior year when COVID hit, and I realized how bad vaping was for my mental health, and I don't know, my lungs and stuff like that. Like running, I couldn't run, I couldn't do stuff like that. But yes, I did realize how bad vaping was, and I did quit. Made the change. Yeah.
Did you see any effects on your friends who vaped, or you, like yourself, aside from running?
Yes, actually, yes, I did manage to see a lot of my friends actually smoked. Uh, like literally, they smoked heavily, and every day it was really hard for me to like be around them since they would also smoke. And I noticed that a lot of them would also try and quit, but even then, I would have one, and they would try and hit it off mine. They would try and use my vape, or even when I didn't have one, I would use their vapes. And at the time, well, sorry for the cut, but okay.
All right. So next up, how was it when you were trying to withdraw, or what made you want to quit?
What made me want to quit was how I was eating. I would wake up and have no hunger, and I would just be on a straight diet of nicotine and coffee or just drinks all day, and I wouldn't really get much to eat.
Why?
I guess nicotine makes you not want to eat. Like it cuts up that hunger, or at least it made me not want to eat. I felt the food was disgusting. It was like I couldn't eat, and my stomach was always hurting. Always had nausea, and I always felt like vomiting, and stuff like that kept me from eating.
So what made you realize it was that?
Once I started taking longer periods between hits, I noticed that I would be feeling much better, and that I wouldn't really have the necessity to keep hitting it or keep using it, and it was just more of addiction more than I needed it. It was,
Wanted it.
yeah.
All right. So when you were starting to stop, I guess,
Yes.
how did you feel withdrawing?
My withdrawals, I would try and quit. Would last a day, and I would feel like I wouldn't have to come back. I would have to use it again, and even if I would last a couple days, uh, ultimately I would come back because of school. A lot of people use them, so it was a lot of them going around, and I had the temptation of getting back into it, and I guess I would come back to it, and I would start the process all over again, and uh, having withdrawals on top of that uh, made it a lot easier for me to fall back into the addiction of using nicotine.
What made it different that last time where you didn't go back?
What made it different was I felt completely sick. I was, I felt like I had to be laying down next to the toilet because I couldn't, like, I felt like I needed to throw up, and I felt so sick, and I was like, I'm never doing this again. And ever since, I've only gotten better, and like I've never felt the need to go back to it.
You mentioned to me before that if, aside from what you felt, hunger and everything, that you felt like it was giving you depression. Did that actually change once you stopped?
Yes, I actually did. I felt much happier. I felt like I wasn't bummed out. My I was now eating. I was drinking more water and doing more exercise, so it did help me with a lot of that. So nicotine did help me back and made me more lazier. And I guess me doing more and help doing more for my body and like giving the nutrients and like the exercise. It didn't really change the way I thought.
Did you ever try to convince your friends to stop as well?
I tried convincing them. Most of them have stopped. Some of my close friends still kept going. Uh, they still do it around me, but I really have no temptation of them. I see it, but I don't wanna I
Go
don't go out of
back
my
into it.
way to ask for them, or even if it's sitting right there, I could just literally not care for it. And it feels much better knowing that I have that choice of saying, you know what, I don't need it. Like, instead of me going back to those days where I had to be
Have it.
vaping and I had to have it with me at all times.
It was probably also high school. Maybe you matured a little bit. Like from having that peer pressure and everything to actually leaving and not being in that environment.
Yes, I guess I see it now, but I see a lot of the kids doing it nowadays, and I'm like, that is actually really bad. And I was a kid too, and when people told me only wanted to do even more, and like, um, I guess that was like the rebellious part of kids, and
Teenage.
especially teenagers, that you tell them something and they're not gonna listen. But
They'll do the opposite.
in reality, it's vaping, smoking,
And
uh,
drugs in general.
and drugs. It can cause a lot of problems, not only for you and like a lot of people, and especially if it gets out of hand, it can lead to many other incidents harming
Do
you and others.
do you think that changing the age limit actually helped at all? Or it's always gonna be as accessible to everyone?
I believe changing the age limit to 21 was the right thing to do.
But did it help?
I believe it did help. At the time when I was in high school, I was 18, and I used to get them a lot easier. And once they changed it to 21, I was still in high school at the time. I had no way of getting them. I had to change ways. Eventually, I did find new ways and new people that were able to get me that.
But it was a moment of hardship to get there, right?
Yes, it is a lot harder now, but uh, applications like Snapchat, Facebook, Instagram have made it a lot easier for dealers to market their products and sell it to not only like adults, but mostly kids who use these apps. Certainly, I was one of those kids.
All right. Thank you for answering these questions. We're done.